Welcome back, Soulmates. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Just in case you're joining us, let's take a look back at some of the top stories of the day. The father of the gunman who killed 3 students at Michigan State University says his son turned, quote, evil and mean after his mother's death. It's being said that Anthony McCrae, seen here, changed his demeanor and outlook on life after his mom died suddenly of a stroke back in September of 2020. And 22-year-old Mild Brainy has been fired as a Georgia officer and arrested for hiding the death of 16-year-old Susan Morales, who has been missing since July of last year, and her body was finally found near a highway this week. And a federal appeals court has reinstated a challenge to Connecticut's policy of allowing transgender girls to compete in female high school sports 2 months after a 3-panel judge upheld the rules. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New York said the full court will rehear the appeal of 4 cisgender runners who say they were unfairly forced to race against transgender athletes in high school competitions. And finally, a new evidence shows that communities of color are more likely to be burdened by various industry infrastructure, disproportionately jeopardizing the health of Black and brown people. Experts say Houston and the pipeline project are microcosms of the nation's persistent environmental racism that subjects people of color, soulmates like you and me, to hazards. For the full rundown on these stories and more, you can access FOXSOUL's video on demand on any of our partners, and you can even access past shows and other Black-centered content. And don't forget to download the FOXSOUL app. It's free. Now, me Quarterline, back over to you.
Thanks, Courtney. Now off to Georgia news, where Georgia's first Black senator, Reverend Raphael Warnock, has released a children's book for People that's what People magazine is reporting. He's calling it Put Your Shoes On and Get Ready. And the inspiration behind the book's title comes from his father's daily morning wake-up call during his childhood. The book illustrates how those words, put your shoes on and get ready, taught him a larger lesson about the importance of preparation and following your purpose. The book encourages youngsters to embrace their authentic selves and illuminates the importance of charting a distinctive path and serving your community. We like that. It also features vibrant illustrations created by visual artist Tamika Grooms. Now, the release of the children's book comes nearly a year after his memoir, A Way Out of No Way, a memoir of truth, transformation, and the new American story hits bookshelves.
I'm loving all these new varieties of Black-based books to choose from for our young people to see themselves on the pages, to be beautifully illustrated through these characters. So, you know, all this variety of these new Black books and these emerging new authors is just, it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing, and the irony is, I wonder if this book would be on the bookshelves in schools in places like Florida, in places like South Carolina, and places like Texas. And
Let's hope so.
Can you imagine this book being banned, right? Well, you should imagine it because it is happening.
Indeed.
Hopefully that won't be the case for Senator Warnock.
And the president of Prairie View A&M University, Ruth Simmons, is expected to step down earlier than her expected resignation date of June 1st. Now, the early resignation stems from a disagreement with the system chancellor regarding hiring during the remaining months of Simmons' tenure as president. In a letter spread across campus last week, Simmons said she was recently informed that she, quote, could only continue as president with limited presidential authority. She didn't like that. Now, incoming President Tamika LeGrand is set to assume the position on June 1st. She is currently the vice president for strategy, enrollment management, and student success at Virginia Commonwealth University. Some grumblings in the front office there, and she didn't like what was put out, and so she's going to keep it moving a little earlier than expected.
I think it's BS. You know, she is currently the president of the university.
She should be
she should have every right to operate with the full authority until her very last day. You know, don't treat her any different than you would treat any other president of a university, right? And so I think it's a shame that she's leaving earlier than her scheduled departure. But how often do we see this where black folks in positions of power and influence and authority are treated differently?
Well, but maybe it's a throwback to the whole sitting duck philosophy where you're about to go, and so, don't cause any waves or don't, put anything in position because your presidency and, and your, you're about to be on out of there. And so, you're making room for what's new to come. And so maybe they feel like, she's just not in position to start anything new or to make any hires because it's not going to be a part of the next president's philosophy.
I don't buy it. It's Texas, and funny stuff happens in Texas. Even the president of the United States is working on his very last day in office up until 12 noon, where there has to be a transition of power. This don't smell right. Well, moving on, this is something else that doesn't smell right. The family of T.C. Williams, a tobacco business owner who owned 25 to 40 enslaved people during slavery, is demanding that the University of Richmond pay more than $3 billion after the school changed the name of its law school, which was named after him. Now, the school changed the name of 6 buildings, including Williams' building, last year in response to the protests over buildings named after people who owned slaves. Williams' family member, attorney Robert C. Smith, who filed the lawsuit, calculates that his family has given a total of $3.6 billion to the university over the decades. He stated, "Numbers don't lie. It might be worthwhile for you to require every woke activist to take a course in finance to appreciate those for whom they want to cancel."
All righty, it is time to highlight the accomplishments and achievements made across our community for the culture and beyond. So here's today's Black History. I feel like I'm in front of the class giving a Black History report, about to be graded. I'm nervous. I'm walking up to the chalkboard.
You'll do just fine.
And here we go. On this day in 1968, Henry Lewis became the conductor and musical director of the New Jersey Symphony, becoming the first African American to lead a major symphony orchestra. And rapper Baby, born Brian Williams in New Orleans. Williams, who is also known as the Birdman, and his brother Ronald Williams founded the hip-hop label Cash Money Records back in 1991. Baby is responsible for several hits, including #1 Stunner and Stay Fly with Big Timers, and also Get Your Shine, Get Your Shine. So what does Diddy, Pharrell, and 50 Cent all have in common?
Well, soulmates. You'll have to come back to find out. This is Fox Soul's Black Report. More when we come back.